Welcome to the Untalked podcast. Let's listen in as the conversation's already started.
Watching the news at 6 o'clock every night, and I'm like, Mom, you can't trust that you're getting the full. You need to understand. You need to be critical. And like that's what we need. That's the children we need to be raising.
Yeah.
Is
To question, to ask.
Yes.
Critical thinkers. We need
Yeah.
critical thinkers,
Yes.
not just followers and not just
Yes.
who believe all the propaganda that is being preached and all the misinformation that is out there, because there's so much of it, overwhelming, right? And we're not so. I feel like now with the more people that are awakened, the more people are listening to their intuition and knowing when there's a lie being perpetrated. You can feel it.
Yeah. Energetically, you can feel it. And I do feel there is those people like we were talking about, these sort of fundamental, thinkers and people making changes. But you're right, Lisa, those people are kind of pushed to the side as being as being crazy. Like I follow a lot of amazing, spiritual minded people through Instagram, like Teal Swan. I don't know if you've ever heard of Teal Swan. You check her out. She's amazing. I just could watch her talk for hours. And she would be seen as a lot of people as, in as loopy.
Yeah.
But she knows what she's talking about, and she's reading energy, and she's understanding like it from a holistic perspective of what's going on in the world, and recognizing that we all have a role to play. But those people, again, as throughout history, are pushed to the sides as being like, well, they don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
And I think those, yeah. And now with everyone stuck at home, I think more people are listening and questioning. So I think all of this shift in the world, specifically with Black Lives Matter, coming on the heels of COVID, it's for a reason. We've been told to cover our faces, shut our mouths, not be with each other, not congregate in groups. And people are like, wait a minute.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like at what point does that stop, know?
Yeah. And even like I would say our conversations from today to when this all first started, we were all saying, we want to be safe. The media tells us that this disease is very dangerous and whatever. And today we realize that there has to be a line between what we're allowed to, like a protest up to 100 people is okay, but not a gathering at your family house. Like, and it's great that the outlet that we're choosing to stand up for is Black Lives Matter. It could have been a plethora of different things during this thing. It could have been our right to freedom to move and freedom to speak and freedom to whatever. So this is like you said, on the heels of COVID, this is what we're choosing to stand up for. Fantastic, because it's something that's 500 years old, and it's going to take a long time, but the conversation has to start somewhere.
And it has to like the momentum that it has to stay at that same momentum. Like it has to be rolling forward, and we can't let it just, okay, this is uncomfortable, drop by the wayside. Ooh, I feel better now. Do you?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah.
And as far as COVID goes, like I think it's ludicrous. We have in the province of Ontario, we have 4 media conferences a day where they come on and they each say something completely different. So do we trust the politicians? Do we trust the WHO? Who do we trust? Who's telling us what, and where are they getting their information? And are they reliable sources? Is it evidence-based information? Is it science-based information? Where are you getting because everybody's saying something completely different, from the premier to the prime minister to the health minister. Like, everybody's saying something completely different. So who do you believe?
But I think that is what's sparking the need for questions. And I think this is what the growth of the human race is really happening right now. People are saying, wait a minute, I am getting conflicting information, because before you get your information in little chunks and you would take it or leave it and move on with your life. But now you're sitting in front of it, you're engaged with it all the time. You have no choice but to decide whether or not somebody's telling you the truth or not. And when the story changes 400 billion times, it's made people critical thinkers who otherwise weren't before, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah. And I think too, also back to what Christine said, is I saw a quote, something about like, we have the foot on, like we need to keep our foot on the gas with this.
Yeah.
We don't just like go, okay, like I've had deep conversations with my kids, not easy conversations. I was very open what happened about George Floyd and how that was opened up something, how it's been happening for many, many, many years, and not just in the US and Canada. And, you know, they know about the marches and the protests, and, but I can't just stop there. You know, I can't just stop there. And I'm trying to read more, and I realize that, you know, I have some favorite Black female poets and authors, but they're minimal, and that I need to start reading all type of work written by people of color, all people of color, you know, and again, with an understanding more of the history. I didn't learn about residential schools when I went to school in Nova Scotia. I knew nothing of the true history of our Aboriginals. And Michaela she was in grade 3 this year, and she had to do a project on residential schools, and she taught me.
Wow.
I didn't even know. And I'm like, okay, I need to keep that momentum going.
How beautiful is that though, right? That you are learning with her. Like what an incredible thing to share together.
Yeah.
And that it's very great that like it's being taught. It's just being talked about at all. And and I think that's really great. I wanted to like bring up, I equate some of this to the Me Too movement, and I hate to think that the Me Too movement, I feel, has stalled in the media. And I wonder if we're going to get to the same. Now, I know there's a new Jeffrey Epstein thing on Netflix, and that kind of maybe brought it back up. But we just saw last week another overturning of a court decision, that is allowing for alcohol to be a usable defense. And I'm thinking, are we going back in time? What about all the work that we've done? And, you know, signing petitions on change.org is something I'm doing, but what else can I do, right?
Exactly.
I think there needs to be educating, for example, like with that ruling. My mom did, for example, it's educating people about it. I didn't know about it. Someone had the link on Instagram. I went on change.org, and I went on there, and then I signed that petition, and then I signed I spent like half an hour going through everything that popped up relevant. I'm like putting my name on that, but I'm like, the least I can do, right? But I think it's having the conversations, and I think it's just having you have to keep having the conversations. And I think that's something that I feel within my family, is having those difficult first conversations, not only with my kids. I don't feel anymore that it's been difficult, because my children have heard for many years about equality, where we talk about equality of men and women based on the color of your skin, race, religion, like all of it. Sometimes they're kind of like, Mom, you're overdoing it. We know. But I think what I realize is to, within my own family, so within my parents and with other generations, is to have those conversations. And where I sometimes feel like I'm on a rant or I'm rambling, but for example, my mom really listened for she's been just letting me speak, and a few times she's like, I didn't know that. I didn't even know that, or I didn't think of that, you know, and she's
That's
like,
awesome.
And so I'm like, okay, those are the things. And I think it's just, you know, even like the Me Too, I don't know, find a way to keep all those things that are important to us and not forget that all of these things are existing even now.
It's almost like we have to stay uncomfortable to keep them relevant, right? Because as soon as it's not uncomfortable, and it has to be, we like, to quote Glennon Doyle, right? I mean, we can do hard things. We've always done it. And it's uncomfortable, but it needs to be, because that's the only place where change happens. We need to be uncomfortable, and then we grow, right? Because we need to plant some different seeds, because the seeds that we've been planting, obviously, they haven't been working.
They need to go.
They need to be pulled.
They're like pulled right out of the earth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not only just have the conversation, but also just like put your children into situations where they get to meet lots of new people. They shouldn't feel uncomfortable around groups of people. Take them to festivals. Toronto is full of festivals to meet new people, new cultures, new food. There's so many people. I live in a very diverse rural community because of all the workers who come here. Take your kids to the food cart that has the tacos and meet the Mexicans, and take them to the Caribbean restaurant to eat some roti. And, you know, like, live your life, get to know the culture that is in front of us is abundant, and we live in the best country for that. Embrace it, because your kids won't know any different if they're submerged in culture all the time, because that's what it really is all about. It's just different cultures.
Amen, sister.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally agree.
And there's so much good food out there we can eat, like and like let's do it. Let's just get out there, and then that's where you're going to meet the most interesting people, and then you get to know nothing to be feared. My mom, like you say, my mom of the older generation doesn't like to try things like Indian food, or because she doesn't know anything about that culture, so she thinks everything is just scary to her, and you got to immerse yourself in it.
And food is a good
Break bread.
Break bread, yeah. Food is a good, it's a good, everyone wants to eat, and so it's a good sort of way to connect us to other people and other cultures through that, and then you can learn more about the history, right?
Right.
So I like that idea. Yeah.
And it's
Awesome.
a wonderful way to celebrate, right? Breaking bread with somebody is such a wonderful way to celebrate their culture.
Yep.
And just inviting that in, like, what can you teach me? What can we share? What can we teach each other?
Now I'm going to be missing all the food festivals this year. I'm already starting.
I know, I'm hungry now.
I shouldn't have brought them up. Anyway, I better sign off. I can hear the bubs upstairs. So thanks for meeting again. It's like
beautiful to see you guys.
Yeah, big hugs.
Yes. We'll check in next week, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
See you later.
Bye. Yeah, big hugs.
Yes. We'll check in next week, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
See you later.
Bye.